We're buzzing with Beadle again this week on The Spread. We're joined by the one and only Michelle Beadle from FanDuelTV. Michelle, we got a different backdrop today. Whole wall of shoes. How's it going?
Yeah, this was my old podcast room that I'm changing into my new everything room. So I'm gonna change this. I'm gonna make it less girly. It's just a lot of heels.
This is, if there's anyone that you wanted to send a message to for the holiday seasons on what they should buy you, I think this is a good message.
Right? Like, I don't have black shoes, so there you go. Yeah,
those might be basic. Michelle, we had some interesting news from the NBA in these last couple of weeks, and it wasn't Kyrie saying something completely unhinged or LeBron asking people, why. They're not asking about questions, or if he's saying to read books, things like that. It's not the usual stuff. Yeah, the usual. We did have some unexpected news, and that was, the trophies being renamed and just completely rebranded in the NBA. This is not exactly something I expected. I thought, they might dedicate some more resources to lead pass, actually working on your phone or things like that. But I digress. I thought this could be an interesting time to ask you a couple of questions about each trophy. I want to, get your opinion on each one, what you think. And I also want to ask you who the worst possible person for each award could be.
Yep.
Ready to roll?
I'm ready to go.
Okay, so we're going to start with the one that they probably got the most right. Also, disclosure, they did not give the trophy naming rights to anyone who has the most awards for any of the trophies they're named after.
Which is interesting, isn't it?
Right. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's weird, but yes.
So let's start with the MVP award. It's now the Michael Jordan MVP award. He's at worst the second best player of all time. What did you think about this?
That to me was a no-brainer. That's probably the only one that just felt, or maybe for me personally, it was the only one that I was just like, yes, I have zero, even half fraction percentage points of a doubt that this is what it should be called. What I do love about it also is it just will continue to reignite the debate of who is in fact the best player of all time. So it's almost like the NBA just did a monster troll job on all of us the rest of our lives. Thank you guys.
Yeah, they really did, honestly. And it's funny because at this point, obviously you can't name a trophy after someone who's still playing, but what's left for LeBron when he retires?
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Like, I feel like he's going to want something, and now are we going to rename all of these again? I hope not, because then it just gets real weird and fake.
Yeah. It's like, someone won the one defensive player of the year and then someone won a different defensive player of the year. It does get weird. I agree.
Yeah, it's real flaky, real fickle.
So who is your worst candidate for a blank MVP trophy?
When I was thinking about some of these, they got personal for me. This one is probably the most personal for me because it goes back to the 2017 Western Conference Finals. I was lucky enough to be working that. It also was between my favorite team of all time, the San Antonio Spurs, and the Golden State Warriors. And it is the game for me that will always be known as the day Zaza Pachulia got away with attempted murder. And I will name Zaza Pachulia the MVP award for his one flagrant move causing the demise and ultimately departure of one Kawhi Leonard as a San Antonio Spur. Well done, Zaza.
It's crazy how a little closeout changed NBA history. Full disclosure for anyone watching, Michelle and I are both Spurs fans, so this is like public enemy number one for us, honestly.
Sure. Anytime I see him, I'm like,
yeah. I went in a little bit of a different direction. I went with the Elgin Baylor MVP award. He finished second for MVP twice. Fantastic player, obviously, one of the top 50 players of all time. This man averaged 34, 19, and 5, and 34, 14, and 5, and lost both times.
That's kind of crazy. Both times.
That's wrong.
Yeah, I like that. You're doing like sort of a justice for somebody who was, okay, I like that.
Well, I'll let you ponder on that when I get to my other ones.
Okay, good.
That might be my only justice one, honestly. Next award is the Jerry West Clutch Award. He was a clutch player, but he is mostly known for how many times he missed out on winning championship trophies. Who is your candidate for worst possible award named after for MVP for clutch?
It's funny to me because this award and the, I think, Sixth Man Award, from listening to all the talking heads in the last week, are the ones most disputed with their namings. For me, again, as a San Antonio Spurs fan, I'm going to give it to James Harden for his illustrious play in the Game 6. Well, it was a series in which ultimately the Rockets went on to lose, Spurs went on to win. He had 10 points, 2 of 11 shooting. This was the year in which James Harden played his usage rate through the roof. He was partying like a rock star, and that nothing spells clutch quite like that.
My Manu blocking him from behind on the 3 has been my Twitter petter for I think the last 4 years, and don't plan on changing it.
It's how I think of James Harden to this day.
Yeah, no, that's fair, honestly. He won a different award later in the show that we'll get to if you can guess what that might be. I went with Brandon Jennings here. First of all, because it'd be hilarious for Brandon Jennings to have an award named after him. I looked this up. I wanted to look up who the worst clutch player was of all time. Apparently it's Brandon Jennings. In the last 5 minutes of NBA games, he shot 27% from the field, 24% from 3, and he was a minus 71, which honestly is just impressive. I don't know.
That's actually minus 71?
That's really bad.
You know what's funny? When I initially started to do this, I started to go down the road of all right, let me look at actual numbers. And it was kind of crazy, some of the names. And it also depends on how you define clutch, and it has different ways. But it was like Dwayne Wade. There were names on this list of, quote, bad clutch players that I was like, well, now that's just going to confuse people. If I say Dwayne Wade, they're like, well, Dwayne Wade was a great player. You're like, yeah, but clutch.
Could be outside your house with pitchforks, probably.
Exactly. I'm not going down that road. Nope. All right, I like that one.
Before we get to our third award, honorable mention goes for 2010 LeBron James, just what the media thought wasn't clutch, because he was making the right play, passing to Mario Chalmers and Chris Bosh. But that's a conversation for another time.
Yeah, that's a whole other debate. Okay.
For Defensive Player of the Year, you have Hakeem Olajuwon, who is rightfully named after him. Who is a bad award getter for the Hakeem Defensive Player?
I don't know if this is on brand or appropriate, but it's definitely ironic. So for my Defensive Player Award, the naming rights will go to one, Tristan Thompson, who clearly does not know how to defend against pregnancy or any other cheating scandal whatsoever. So that is my Defensive Player of the Year award.
we took this in very, very different directions. I love it. That is very funny. Right. Yeah, he can't defend against pregnancies or cheating scandals in general. So I like that. I went with 2010's James Harden for worst defensive player because he's kind of turned things around at least a bit in terms of effort on paper, but just prime Shaq in a fool moments where James Harden was just he's basically that meme where it's a security guard outside a football stadium who's just kind of checking people like that. That was essentially how James Harden would
just
play.
Standing there. You're like, is he even still playing? What? There's some great moments. Yeah. That's a good call. Those Shaq the Fool days were great.
I think you might have gotten me beat for Tristan Thompson though.
It's not appropriate, but that's all right.
The Wilt Chamberlain Rookie of the Year award. This is probably the most spot on one, along with MVP. Who is your worst Rookie of the Year award getter?
You know what's funny about it being the Wilt Chamberlain is just Wilt Chamberlain, for so many people, the name, it just brings different images, different guy. It's like a different version of Wilt Chamberlain each time. So it's kind of crazy to think, he was once also a rookie and a damn good one at that. But I decided to go, not every rookie needs to be what we think of as a rookie. So for me, I took one of, if not the oldest rookie in NBA history, was a Knick, Pablo Prigioni. That is your year award, because it's never too late to live your dreams.
That's fair. I, again, went in a different direction. I went with Anthony Bennett, maybe one of the worst number one picks.
Wow. People are like, and Google, and okay.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Okay, let's go rapid fire for these last couple of ones. We got the John Havilcek Sixth Man of the Year award. I know we probably wanted it to be the Manu Ginobili one.
Yeah. That would actually make sense.
Yeah. I'll take it. I went with Melo when he got to Oklahoma City, just purely based off, hey, Pete, they want me to come off the bench. Not exactly sixth man there.
No, that's actually good, because then you have that on the plaque. I just went Lou Williams, because yes, but also off the court, he was doing so much more than everyone else in his personal life. So for me, yes, Lou Williams, sixth man.
That's Magic City MVP right there.
Yeah, it is.
How about the George Mikan Most Improved Award? Where'd you go here?
This one was a little bit tougher, but this guy, his career has so many blunders, but he also had great moments. So for me, I went with J.R. Smith. Because between the soup throwing and the not knowing what the score was and all these moments to actually becoming what seems like a great human being, a student, 4.0 golfer. Yeah, I'm going to go most improved in all aspects.
Again, surprise, I went with Jahlil Okafor here. Averaged 17 and 7 as a rookie, 12 and 5 the next season, and nothing even remotely close.
Yeah, it just happens. It happens to the best of us.
Yeah, this is tough if anyone's watching. And the last one I want to ask you, what is the funniest or worst award you could come up with for someone?
Well, I was sort of in the award season mindset as we are, in the world of entertainment and everything's happening. And so I went Cecil B. DeMille. It's just given to somebody who's had great contributions in entertainment. And then I thought, well, who's some of the best floppers? Because I think that's entertaining. And I went old school. I went Vlade Divac. And also because I think he was funny off the court as well. But some of his flops, like go back and watch with Shaq people, Shaq wouldn't even near him at times. And you'd think he'd been shot. So yes, that's mine.
Honorable mention for best flop ever, I think mine ever, is Raja Bell and Manu both flopping just simultaneously.
Like dead fish.
Hey, but Manu got the call, so that's all that matters.
All that matters.
Mine, I went with worst possible teammate, and I have to give this to the only man that I know of that ever brought a gun into a locker room, Mr. Gilbert Arenas.
Damn! That's actually pretty good. And now loved by all.
Yeah, it's you want to give him most improved, you can too.
Win multiple.
Well, Michelle, I really appreciate you hopping on the spread for today. She's Michelle Beadle. You can see her on FanDuelTV breaking down all of the NBA awards and the worst possible people that can get them. Appreciate it again, Michelle.